Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. I am Dr. Asiya Atta. We are here for the 7th lecture of Introduction to Biochemistry, which is on amino acids as electrolytes. In this lecture, we will discuss about the amino acids in detail. Amino acids being as building blocks of the protein, their structure, their classification on several bases. We will also discuss their properties, which are the physical and chemical properties. Before moving towards the details on amino acids, first of all, we should know about the proteins, their nature, and their biological functions. Because we know that amino acids are the building blocks of the protein. So, proteins are the most abundant and complex organic molecules of the living systems. They occur almost in each and every part of the cell and constitute about 50% of the cellular weight. They do most of the work in the body. So proteins form the fundamental basis of structure and function of the life. Uh, as we are studying about the proteins, so we should know a little bit about their history. Miller was the first scientist who put the basis of the study of protein while he was investigating the substances from milk and egg and found that these substances can be coagulated on heat. And most probably they are nitrogenous in nature. The term protein is derived from a Greek word proteos, which means first place or the preeminent. Again, Berzelius was the first man who suggested these nitrogenous substances, their name as a protein. These are the group of organic compounds that are at most important to the life according to the Berzelius. And now we know that proteins are the fundamental structural component of the body. So proteins are the nitrogenous macromolecules which are composed of many amino acids. Biomedically, proteins are also very important. They do most of the work of the cell. For example, proteins are the main structural component of cytoskeleton. Actin and tubulin are the examples of structural proteins which polymerize to form a long stiff fiber that make up the cytoskeleton. And this cytoskeleton allows the cell to maintain its size and shape to sustain their life. Another important function of the protein is they act as a biocatalyst. We know these biocatalysts as enzymes. These enzymes accelerate the chemical reaction. Almost all the metabolic processes in the cell need enzymatic catalysis to maintain or sustain the life. Proteins are also very important in the immune system. Hormones are secreted by the endocrine glands. Not all, but most of these hormones are proteinous in their nature. For example, insulin and glucagon are the example of those hormones which are proteinous in their nature. Many structural proteins are contractile proteins. For example, actin and myosin are the proteins that help in the movement of the muscle fiber. Some proteins act as a receptor. So now receptors are the chemical structures which are composed of proteins that receive and transduce signals that may be integrated into the biological systems. In simple words, receptors can receive the information in the form of ligands. Now ligands are the chemical substances. These may be hormones or neurotransmitters can pass the information to first bind with the receptor and pass the information towards the cell. That what type of the actions can be taken by the are needed to be taken by the cell to tackle the condition or situation of the living system. Many proteins act as a transport proteins. They carry out the function of the transporting specific substances either across the membrane or inside the body fluids. These can be transporter proteins, anionic transporter proteins. For example, they are specific for the cations. Anionic transport proteins, which allows the anions to be transported inside or outside the cell. Many transport proteins may be carrier proteins which carry the ions or small molecules or the macromolecules across the membrane or in the body fluids. Several proteins serve as a storage proteins. They bind with the specific substances and store them. For example, iron is stored as ferritin, so ferritin is a storage protein. Few proteins are constituent of respiratory pigment, for example, hemoglobin and myoglobin. So, these respiratory pigments increases the oxygen carrying capacity of the blood. So hemoglobin is present in the red blood cells while myoglobin is predominantly present in the muscles, and some occur in the electron transport chain, for example cytochromes. These are present in the inner mitochondrial membrane and are important in the energy metabolism. Under certain conditions, protein can also be catabolized to supply the energy. For example, 1 gram of protein can release the 4 kilocalories of the energy. Many proteins, by means of exerting osmotic pressure, help in the maintenance of electrolyte and water balance in the body. For example, plasma proteins are responsible for the maintenance of water balance and of the electrolyte. Proteins are the heteropolymers of the alpha amino acids. So amino acids serve as a building blocks of the proteins. Due to the versatility in the structure of amino acids, they have a properties that are well suited to carry out a variety of biological functions. For example, they have a capacity to polymerize with unlimited number of amino acids to form a diversified type of the proteins. They have an acidic and basic group in their structure, so they also possesses a useful acid-base properties. Amino acids also possesses a varied physical properties. They also possesses a varied type of chemical functionality. So amino acids are a group of organic compounds that contain two functional groups at a time in their structure. The one is amino group and the other is carboxyl group. Amino group is a basic while the carboxyl group is acidic in nature. There are about 300 amino acids that occur in the nature, but only 20 of them are the most common amino acids, or we can say these are the standard amino acids which are present in almost all the proteins. Amino acids can be obtained from the proteins by the hydrolysis. This hydrolysis may be enzymatic in nature. For example, pepsin, trypsin and chymotrypsins are the enzymes which hydrolyze the proteins and liberate free amino acids in the digestive system. The other form of the hydrolysis is acidic and basic catalysis, which liberate the amino acids from the proteins. Each amino acid has 4 different groups which are attached to the same central carbon. This central carbon is also known as alpha carbon. So the structure of the amino acid possesses 4 different groups, and these groups are one is amino acid, the second one is carboxyl group, the third one is a hydrogen atom, and the fourth one is a side chain of R group or the functional group. And all these groups are depicted in the figure below. So if we are talking about the structure of amino acids, the amino acids share many features. For example, all the 20 common amino acids are alpha amino acids. They have a carboxyl group and an amino group which are bonded to the same carbon atom, which is alpha carbon. They also possess a H atom in their structure. They also have a fourth R group. Though the similarity is the presence of R group in all the amino acids, the only difference is this R group this R group is different for all the amino acids. They vary in their structure, size and electric charge. and which influence the solubility of the amino acids in water. So moving towards the nomenclature of the amino acids, all the amino acids have trivial or common names. In some cases, these names were derived from the source from which they were first isolated. For example, asparagine was first isolated from the asparagus, so we named it asparagine. Glutamate was first derived from the wheat gluten, and its name is glutamate. Tyrosine was first isolated from the cheese, and its name is derived from the Greek word tyros, which means cheese. Glycine is due to the sweeter in taste. The name glycine is derived from the Greek word glykos, which means sweet. The common amino acids of the proteins have been assigned 3-letter abbreviation and 1-letter symbol. For example, glycine. GLY is a 3-letter abbreviation for glycine and only G, 1-letter symbol for glycine. These 3-letter abbreviation and 1-letter symbols are used as shorthand to indicate the composition and the sequence of amino acids which are polymerized in the proteins. The 3-letter abbreviation are self-evident and no more explanation is needed for to recognize the amino acid. But 1-letter abbreviation are less obvious because several amino acids begin with the same letter, so other letters of the alphabet have to be used in order to provide a unique label. For example, threonine, tyrosine, and tryptophan are the amino acids which starts from the same word T. So we can name these amino acids as T symbol for the threonines, and Y, which is the second letter of the tyrosine, can be used for the tyrosine, and the third tryptophan, it can be W. These words or labels have to be memorized by the one who is reading the sequence of the amino acids in the protein. In organic nomenclature, to identify the carbon atoms in an amino acid can be confusing. So the additional carbon in the R group are commonly designated as beta, gamma, sigma, and so forth, proceeding out from the alpha carbon. Within this, the carboxyl group of an amino acid would be the C1 and the alpha carbon would be the C2, and the proceeding is so forth. Most alpha amino acids are chiral. It means that alpha carbon always possesses 4 different substituents and is a tetrahedral. Therefore, they exhibit optical isomerism. Because of the tetrahedral arrangement of the bonding orbital around the alpha carbon, therefore alpha carbon atom is thus a chiral center. So alpha carbon has several names. It's an alpha carbon, asymmetric carbon due to the presence of the 4 different groups, or a chiral carbon. All the amino acids have an acidic carboxyl group and a basic amino acid group and an alpha hydrogen which are connected to the alpha carbon. Each amino acid has a unique 4th R substituents which we already discussed. Except the glycine, the R substituent is also a hydrogen atom, so it is a non-chiral. Proteins only contain L amino acids in their structure. As we already discussed that amino acids, due to their tetrahedral configuration, possesses or exhibit optical isomerisms. They are present in their D and L configurations. So if we are talking about the D and L configuration of the amino acids, we can memorize this as if the amino group of the amino acid present at the right side of the alpha carbon, then it will be a D configuration of that amino acid. And if the amino group is present on the left side of the alpha carbon, then it will be a L configuration of that amino acids. So in this figure that is depicted in this slide, the alanine is present in its D and L configuration. So if we are saying that in D configuration of alanine, the amino group is present at the right side of the alpha carbon, while in L-alanine, the amino group is present on the left side of the amino or left side of the alpha carbon. Amino acids can be classified on several bases. For example, they can be classified on the basis of their chemical nature and structure, on the basis of their polarity, or on the basis of their nutritional requirement. They can also be classified on the basis of their metabolic. When we talk about the classification which is based on the chemical nature and structure of amino acids, it is the most comprehensive type of classification of the amino acids. The common amino acids can be placed in 7 basic groups which are depending on their R substituents. And these basic groups are aliphatic amino acids due to the aliphatic side chain of R group, aromatic amino acids, acidic amino acids, basic amino acids, sulfur containing amino acids, hydroxyl group containing amino acids, and the seventh and last one is amino. The aliphatic amino acids are the monoamino monocarboxylic acids, and this group consists of the most simple amino acids. Glycine, alanine, valine, leucine, and isoleucine are the members of this group. The last 3 amino acids, which are leucine, isoleucine, valine, contain branched aliphatic side chains. Hence, they are referred to as branched chain amino acids. So these are the hydrophobic and non-polar in nature and show a very simple branched chain in. Aromatic amino acids contain aromatic R chain. Phenylalanine, tyrosine, and tryptophan are the members of this group. You can see here all these amino acids contain an aromatic R group. Beside these 3 amino acids, histidine can also be considered under this group due to the presence of imidazole ring. These amino acid side chains can absorb the UV light at 270 to 80 nanometers. Aspartic acid and glutamic acid are the dicarboxylic monoamino acids, while asparagine and glutamine are their respective amide derivatives. All these 4 amino acids possesses distinct codons for their incorporation into the proteins. The R group of these amino acids is negatively charged, so they are the acidic amino acids in nature. The R group of the basic amino acids is positively charged. These amino acids are basic in nature and are dibasic monocarboxylic acids, which means they contain 2 amino groups and 1 carboxylic group in their structure. Lysine, arginine, and histidine are the basic amino acids. Amino acids which contain sulfur atom in their structure are called sulfur-containing amino acids. Cysteine and methionine are the members of this group. Another important sulfur-containing amino acid is cysteine, which is formed by the condensation of 2 cysteine molecules. This disulfide bond between the cysteine residues stabilizes the structure of many proteins. Serine, threonine, and tyrosine are the hydroxyl group containing amino acids. Tyrosine, being aromatic in nature, is usually considered under aromatic amino acids. The last group of this classification is amino acids. Proline containing the pyrrolidine ring is a unique amino acid. It has an amino group instead of an amino group which is found in other amino acids. Therefore, proline is an alpha amino acid. Amino acids can also be classified on the basis of their polarity. There are 4 basic groups in this type of classification. The first one is non-polar amino acids. These amino acids, also referred to as hydrophobic, or water-hating amino acids. They have no charge on their R group. The amino acids included in this group are the alanine, leucine, isoleucine, glycine, valine, methionine, phenylalanine, tryptophan, and proline. The second group of this classification is the polar amino acid with no charge on their R group. These amino acids as such carry no charge on their R group. They, however, possesses groups such as hydroxyl, sulfhydryl, and amide and participate in hydrogen bonding of the protein structure. Glycine, serine, threonine, cysteine, glutamine, asparagine, and tyrosine are included in this group. The third group of this classification is the polar amino acid with positively charged R group. There are three amino acids which are included in this group: lysine, arginine, and histidine. The fourth group of the classification of amino acids on the basis of their polarity is polar amino acids with negative R group. The dicarboxylic monoamino acids, for example, aspartic acid and glutamic acid, are considered under this group. The third type of amino acid classification is on the basis of their nutritional requirements. All the 20 amino acids are required for the synthesis of variety of proteins, beside other biological functions. However, all these 20 amino acids need not to be taken in the diet. Based on the nutritional requirements, amino acids are grouped into two classes. The one is essential amino acids and the other is non-essential amino acids. Essential amino acids are indispensable amino acids. There are those amino acids which cannot be synthesized by the body and therefore needed to be supplied through the diet, and these are called as essential amino acids. These are required for the proper growth and maintenance of the individual. The 10 amino acids listed below are essential for the humans: arginine, valine, histidine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine, threonine, and tryptophan are included in the essential amino acid group. We can recall these amino acids by their coding. For example, AVHILLMPTT. This is the code on the basis of which we can recall these amino acids. But we can use different type of coding according to our feasibility or according to our interest. The two amino acids arginine and histidine can be synthesized by the adult but not by the growing children. Hence, these are considered as semi-essential amino acids. Thus, 8 amino acids are absolutely essential while the 2 are semi-essential. The non-essential or dispensable amino acids are those amino acids which can be synthesized by the body. About 10 amino acids are non-essential amino acids and need not to be taken by the diet, but these are required for the biological functions in the body. Glycine, serine, aspartic acid, glutamine, proline, alanine, cysteine, glutamic acid, tyrosine, and asparagine are the members of non-essential amino acid group. The fourth type of classification of amino acids is on the basis of their metabolic fate. Carbon skeleton of amino acids can serve as a precursor for the synthesis of glucose and for the fat synthesis, or the precursor for the both fat and glucose. For metabolic point of view, amino acids are divided into three groups. The first one is glucogenic amino acids. These amino acids can serve as a precursor for the formation of glucose or glycogen. Alanine, aspartate, glycine, and methionine are the members of, or you can say, the glucogenic amino acids. The other category of the amino acids which is on the basis of their metabolic fate is ketogenic amino acid. These amino acids can serve as a precursor for the fat synthesis. And there are two amino acids which are ketogenic in their nature, and these are leucine and lysine. The third group of the amino acid on the basis of their metabolic fate is glucogenic and ketogenic amino acids. These type of amino acids can serve as a precursor for the synthesis of both glucose and fats. There are four amino acids: phenylalanine, isoleucine, tryptophan, and tyrosine. And these are the precursor for the synthesis of glucose as well as fats. Besides the 20 standard amino acids which are present in the protein structure, there are several other amino acids which are biologically important but are very less common ones. These are not incorporated by the ribosomes, which means these are not synthesized by the ribosomes. But these arise by the post-translational modifications of the protein after the synthesis of their of them by the ribosomes. The examples are 4-hydroxyproline, which is a derivative of proline and is found in the plant cell proteins. The 5-hydroxylysine is derived from the lysine and is found in the collagen, which is a fibrous protein of connective tissues. Another important but less common amino acid is 6-N-methyl-lysine. This is the constituent of myosin and a contractile protein of the muscle. Carboxyglutamate is found in the blood clotting protein prothrombin and in certain other proteins that bind calcium as a part of their biological function. The more complex uncommon amino acid is desmosine, a derivative of 4-lysine residue and which is found in the fibrous protein elastin. As we already discussed that there are around 300 additional amino acids which are present in the nature, but only 20 are the common or standard amino acids which form the proteins. Among these, many amino acids are not present in the protein structure, but they are also biologically important. For example, these are the intermediates of the biosynthesis of many other products. For example, ornithine and the citrulline are the examples of such type of amino acids which are not the structure of proteins, which are not present in the structure of proteins, but these are the intermediates in the biosynthesis of arginine and in the urea cycle. And these are very important. Beside the 20 common amino acids that take part in the protein synthesis, recently two more new amino acids are described that are selenocysteine, which is the 21st amino acid, and the pyrrolysine, which is 22nd amino acid, are added. The first one is selenocysteine. This rare amino acid residues is introduced during protein synthesis rather than created through the post-synthetic modifications. It contains selenium rather than the sulfur of cysteine. Actually, these are derived from the serine. Selenocysteine is a constituent of just a few known proteins. For example, thioredoxin, reductase, glutathione peroxidase, deiodinase, glycine reductase. All these are the enzymes and perform very critical or important biological functions. Selenoprotein P is a glycoprotein and contains around 10 selenocysteine residues. This protein is present in the mammalian blood and has an antioxidant function. Its concentration falls in the selenium deficiency condition. The stop codon which can code for the selenocysteine is UGA. Selenocysteine is enzymatically generated from serine directly on the transfer RNA and then incorporated into the protein. The 22nd new amino acid is pyrrolysine. In the In the year 2002, pyrrolysine has been described as the 22nd amino acid which is present in the protein. The stop codon UGA can code for the pyrrolysine. As we have already discussed the structure of amino acids, that they contain an amino and a carboxyl group in their structure along with the R group. If in some amino acids this R group is ionizable and function as a weak acid and the bases. But when an amino acid which is lacking an ionizable R group is dissolved in the water at neutral pH, it exists in the solution as the dipolar ion, which means they can act as either an acid or the base. So these ions also called as Zwitter ions, which is a German, in German, the Zwitter ion means the hybrid ion. Some substances have this dual nature and are known as amphoteric or often called ampholytes from amphoteric electrolytes. A very simple monoamino monocarboxylic alpha amino acid, for example alanine, is a diprotic acid. When fully protonated, it has two groups, the carboxyl group and the amino group, that can yield protons. When an amino acid is dissolved in a solution of different conditions, they behave differently. For example, at acidic pH, the carboxyl group is protonated and the amino acid is in the cationic form. At neutral pH, if the amino acid is dissolved, the carboxyl group is deprotonated, but the amino group is protonated. So the net charge is 0. Thus the ion is called a Zwitter ion. At alkaline pH, the amino group is neutral. The amino acid is an anionic form. And all these conditions are described below in the first figure. Amino acid, when it is not dissolved in the solution, it is present in the non-anionic form. In neutral pH, if the amino acid is dissolved, it is in its zwitterionic form. At acidic pH, the carboxyl group get protonated and the amino acid will be in the cationic form. While at alkaline pH, the amino acid get anionic in nature. As we know the structure of the amino acids, they contain a basic and a acidic group in their structure and a weighted R group. So they exhibit a varied type of physical and chemical properties. So first of all, we are going to discuss about the physical properties of the amino acids. For example, the first one is their solubility. Most of the amino acids are soluble in water and insoluble in the organic solvents. Their melting point generally at higher temperature. Most often it is above 200 Celsius. Amino acids have different tastes. For example, they may have sweeter in taste, tasteless, or the bitter in the taste. Glycine, alanine, and valine are sweeter in taste. Leucine is a tasteless amino acid, while the arginine and isoleucine are bitter in taste. Monosodium glutamate is a salt of glutamic acid and it is employed as a flavoring agent in the food industry to increase the taste and flavor. As we know that all the alpha amino acids are chiral in their nature, which means they are tetrahedral, and due to this orientation, they exhibit the optical isomerisms, except the glycine, which is a non-asymmetric or non-chiral. Amino acid stereoisomers are non-superimposable mirror images, which are the properties of the stereoisomerism class enantiomers. In D amino acids, the amino group, as we already discussed, that amino group is on the right side of the alpha carbon, while in L amino acids it is oriented to the left. Most of the proteins are composed of L alpha amino acids. We already discussed that amino acids are ampholytes. For example, amino acids contain both acidic and basic groups. They can donate a protein or accept a protein, hence amino acids are regarded as ampholytes. As we already discussed that zwitterine is a hybrid molecule containing positive and negative ionic group at the same time. Amino acid rarely exists in a neutral form with the free carboxylic and free amino groups. In strongly acidic pH, amino acid is a positively charged, and in strongly alkaline pH, the amino acid is negatively charged. As we already, each amino acid has a characteristic pH at which it carries both positive and negative charges and exists as a zwitterine. Isoelectric pH is defined as the pH at which a molecule exists as a zwitterion form or the dipolar ion and carries no net charge. Here's another picture which depicts the zwitterionic properties of the amino acids. We already have discussed these properties. Now we are going to discuss the chemical properties of amino acids. The general reaction of amino acids are mostly due to the presence of their functional groups, namely the carboxylic group and the amino groups. So first of all, we are going to discuss the reactions which are due to the carboxyl groups. The first one, amino acid forms salts with the bases and form the esters with the alcohols, which means if the amino acids are dissolved or react with the bases, they form salts, and while they react with the alcohol, they form their esters, respective esters. The second property which is due to the reaction with the carboxyl group is amino acid decarboxylation. The amino acids undergo decarboxylation to produce corresponding amines. For example, histamine, tyramine, gamma amino butyric acid form the amino acids histidine, tyrosine, and glutamate respectively. The next is reaction with the ammonia. The carboxyl group of the dicarboxylic acid amino acids react with the ammonia to form their respective amides. For example, when the aspartic acid reacts with the ammonia, they form asparagine. When glutamic acid reacts with the ammonia, then they form their glutamine, which is amide. The next important chemical property of amino acid is due to the presence of their amino group. When the amino group of an amino acids which behave as a base combines with the acid, for example hydrochloric acid, they form their respective salts. Another important property which is due to the amino group of amino acid is when they react with the ninhydrin. The alpha amino acids reacts with the ninhydrin to form a color complex. These color complex may be purple, blue or pink in color, and they are called Raman's purple. For example, amino acids when reacts with the ninhydrin, they form a keto acid, ammonia, carbon dioxide, and a color complex hydrodentin. This hydrodentin again reacts with the ammonia and ninhydrin to form a purple complex, which is a Raman's complex. Another important chemical property of amino acids, they can be identified by specific color reactions. For example, when the amino acids reacts with the biuret reagent, which is a mixture of different chemicals. This biuret reagent reacts on the peptide linkage and form a color complex. It's a journal protein test which identified the peptide linkage. Another important color reaction is due to the Nin-Hydrin reaction. This is again a general qualitative test for the proteins, and all the alpha amino acids can be identified by this type of reaction. The next is xanthopratic test. This color test is specific for the identification of aromatic amino acids which contain the benzene ring. Again, a Millen's reaction, which is used to identify the phenolic group of amino acids. For example, it is for the tyrosine. Hopkins-Coles reaction. This reaction is specific for the identification of indole ring, and the amino acid is tryptophan. Sakaguchi reaction is for the guanidine group, and the arginine is the member of this group. Nitro-persuade reaction. This reaction is specifically for the sulfur-containing amino acids. So cysteine is the amino acid which is identified by this group. Again, sulfur test, which is used for the general sulfur-containing amino acids detection. Polis test, it is for the imidazole ring identification, and imidazole ring is present in the histidine. So histidine can be identified by this type of reaction. FC test, this test is specific for the phenolic groups, and phenolic group is present in the tyrosine. So this test is specifically for the phenolic groups or the tyrosine containing protein. The next important chemical property of amino acids is transamination. So transamination is a chemical reaction that transfers an amino acid to a keto acid to form a new amino acid. This pathway is responsible for the deamination of the most of the amino acids. This is one of the major degradation pathways which convert essential amino acids to non-essential amino acids. The further chemical property of amino acid is the oxidative deamination. Oxidative deamination is a form of deamination that generates alpha keto acids and other oxidized products from the amine containing compounds and occur only in the liver. So in this oxidative deamination, amino acids undergo oxidative deamination to liberate free ammonia. Dear students, thank you so much for listening. Hopefully this lecture will be helpful for you. You can also consult these topics from these reference books. Thank you so much. Do well and stay safe. Allah Hafiz.